So good morning, welcome to Woman at the Wheel. It is March 3rd, 2023, and it's about 7:45 in the morning, and I'm about less than 20 miles out from delivering this trailer I'm pulling. I picked it up last night in Chickasha, Oklahoma, and I'm delivering it down here to Decatur, Texas. So I'm not too far from Decatur. We're gonna get around this truck. He's going really slow. Really slow. He's doing 60 something in a 75 zone, so everybody and their dog's passing him. So I'm doing something different. I'm always doing something different, huh? Well, I'm doing something different today because I'm on trailer number 1. I'm going to pick up 3 different trailers today before the day's over, as long as everything goes okay. If everything goes to plan. I've got trailer 1 behind me. I'm hauling it down here to Decatur. I'll be delivering it in about 15 minutes. And I'm going to turn and burn and head back to Oklahoma City to go pick up trailer number 2, which is going to be an 8-horse trailer. I've never hauled an 8-horse trailer. I didn't know they made an 8-horse trailer. But I'm going to go pick up an 8-horse trailer and bring it right back down here to the same store. And then I'm going to pick up a trailer down here when I drop that. I'll drop off trailer number 2 in Decatur, and then I'll pick up trailer number 3 down here in Decatur and head on south with it. And then I'll deliver it down in Houston area tomorrow morning. So got quite the schedule after sitting all week and doing nothing. When it rains, it pours. And look how green, speaking of rain, look how green the grass on the side of the road is here. We've had 2 weeks of really good rains, and we've had warm temperatures, so everything's getting green. Spring has come to southern Oklahoma and Texas and the South in general. So yay. This also means that my business should be picking up, and I should be working a lot more than I did for the slow, miserable winter months. And it got really slow this year. I mean, just up until it's still running slow right now, but because I've decided to go ahead and use the Dodge, especially for these local, more or less local loads, you know, if I'm not going any more than 300 or 400 miles from the house, and I'm not going into a state that requires me to stop and pay permit fees, because I don't have IFTA tags on this. So if I go into, say, New Mexico or Arizona, I have to stop at the weigh station and pay permit fees, and they're expensive. So I'm not going to take it into states like that. But for this pretty much local stuff, or just, you know, close regional, if it's, you know, 300-400 miles out, then I can go ahead and use this one when I want to. This is one of those situations where I kind of want to, because this trailer I'm hauling is so big. I could haul it with the Ford, but it would be at the top end of what I can haul with the Ford. So this one's just, I mean, this will handle it just better. It's a big, heavy trailer, and this is a big, heavy trailer hauling trucks. So anyway, that's my first 2 trailers are the big kind. The third one may be a giant one too. I don't know. It remains to be seen. I kind of hope it's not. I hope it's a little one. Kind of hope it's a little used one, to be honest. Something smaller and, you know, easier to handle, easier to get in and out of tight spots, because I do have to go into Houston traffic with it. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm just not going to know till I get there. When I get down here, I will ask them what it is I'm hauling back, or what it is I'm hauling down there. Well, that's interesting. Must be a popular place. Everybody's lining up to get in there. It's kind of cool. So this is Decatur, Oklahoma. Decatur, Texas. I'm trying to claim Decatur for Oklahoma. Sorry, Texas. I'm just going to claim it. It's ours. You can't have it back. No, just kidding. This is Decatur, Texas. And I need to slow down. Decatur is a speed trap. If you don't know that, now you do. You do not want to speed through Decatur. They've got several troopers that work this area, and they will stroke you a ticket in a heartbeat up here. $3.49 for diesel. Look at that. This is a steep ass hill. This is the craziest thing, going right into town here. It's a choke point too. All these trucks come off of 380 that intersects under that overpass. And then they have trouble getting any speed going up the hill. Now I was going to get over in that lane, but I had a car come over and cut me off on that side. So I guess I'm just going to sit here and let them figure out what to do with that truck. The speed limit up here is 55 going through Decatur, and I do not speed through here. Like I said, they got troopers up here who patrol this zealously. I can't even talk this morning, I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. 342. So I could theoretically, if I didn't need to transfer fuel over from my auxiliary tank, I would be buying fuel here. 342, that's the cheapest I've seen in a long time. 354 is what I got it for last week when I was down here, which was the best deal at that time. So okay, so there's a back way to go to get out here to this dealership, but I'm not going to take it because this trailer is so long. I think it would be crazy to do that. Even though there's construction out here and stuff, and I'll get kind of caught up in this a little bit, I'd rather do that than get off at this exit and then get jammed up and not be able to maneuver on the road. I could take that exit right there and go in the back way. But when I've got a trailer on like this, I might as well just go. I think it's that one. It might not be. It might be another one out here. The next exit maybe. Anyway, that's another thing. I'm not sure about it. And when I'm not sure about it, I don't do anything with the trailer on. I'll just stay on the main drag and figure it out later. But I came back that way a couple times. Yeah, it's this exit up here actually. But that road is so skinny and kind of twisty a little bit. So when I come back, I'll come back that way and show you what I mean. But there's no way I'm not gonna drag a 40-foot trailer up that road. I think I will not do that. Okay, so I'm just going to watch for my exit out here. would be nice if they weren't still doing construction out here, and they may not be. I don't see things getting jammed up, so maybe they got done with whatever they were doing last week. So it looks like I may be just clear to take this on in, which would be awesome. Not moving, and I can't get over because I got a car back there, truck back there actually. I don't have that much farther to go anyway. This is my exit coming up. Well, it's not an exit, it's a road intersection. This is great, right on time. They open at 8 and it's 7:58. I'm not the only person heading out here, evidently. I've seen 2 other trailers turn in up there already. I may have to wait for these cars so I can get around here. I'm going to need all of that space to make my turn. So this is kind of a problem. Well, I'm going to try it. We'll see. I'll be okay as long as it doesn't go in the ditch. Yeah, there we go. We're good. So this is just a long-ass trailer, and it just requires a long-ass turn radius. Good, they got the gate open even. Yay. Okay, and we are coming in all nice. Very nice. Do that. We'll still be on the concrete. Okay, so I'm gonna go get this delivered and get my stuff figured out, and I'll be back.
Floater. 110.98.
Uh-oh.
Annuals. Makes an and 1. It's 3 more.
Okay.
110 to 101. We started at 110 to 91. It's 110 to 101.
Stop. Okay. Sorry about that. Get turned around here. I'll give you a look at what we just hauled up. So I got extremely good news on the one that's going to Houston. It's a little bumper pull with a little bitty tack room. So that's pretty much awesome news. But I'm taking the long turn here instead of turning short, so you can see what this monstrosity is I just hauled up here. I think these things are ridiculous, but that's just me. That little one sitting there with the door open, that's probably what I'll be hauling up, something similar to that. This is what I hauled down here. Sit right there. 38 feet, triple axles, hydraulic jacks. Nice trailer, but freaking crazy town too. Okay, so I'm going to go the back way instead of trying to cross 287 out here. All right. So that's good. So far, so good. He was saying that this 8-horse, he said, don't be afraid of it, basically, is what he's trying to tell me. Like, I never even heard of an 8-horse. He said it's probably about the same length as that. It's got a small tack room, which I figured that would probably be a similar deal. Okay, guys, it's all nice and everything. Quit blocking the road, would you? Their gate's open. They must have some horsing event out here today. Pretty clearly they do. Event Center and Guest Ranch. So cool. All right, so now I'm on leg 2 of the journey, which is to jet back to the farm first and fill up. I would stop and buy fuel down here, it's so cheap, but I've got that fuel sitting in the auxiliary tank that sprung a leak. And it's not a big leak yet, it's just a minute leak, but we need to empty that tank out. So as much fuel as I can dump over on this one, I will. The more the better. Between this and the Ford, we should be able to empty that auxiliary tank, because I don't think there's any fuel in the Ford either, the red Ford. I'm pretty sure I ran most of that out, taking it down to Texas before it broke down, and I did not add more fuel. So this is the road I didn't want to bring that 40-foot trailer on. You can kind of see why. It's a squinchy little road, barely room enough for 2 vehicles to pass, and you know, I just didn't see any reason to do that. Besides, I had the better turn advantage going in from the other way. That's what you have to think about when you're hauling trailers. You have to think about your turns more than any other thing. And the longer the trailer, the more you have to think about your turns. Because obviously, the farther back the tire sits on the trailer, the farther back from the truck, the longer of a turn radius you have to make. Oh, there's a redbud tree blooming. Did you see that? It is spring. It's spring in Texas. The redbuds are blooming. Yay. We've got another week, I think, before they start blooming for us. But oh, spring is here. Thank God. I'm ready for it. I've been ready for it. I've been over winter for a month now. Plums are blooming. The pear trees are blooming. Everything's blooming. It's wonderful. This is great. Great, great, great. But yeah, I did not want to drag that big trailer in here because, well, it's just too tight for a big trailer like that. So, which is not to say that you can't drag a trailer out of here, but making a right turn onto this road, that's a squeeze point if you got a long trailer. Making any right-hand turns is always kind of squeezy, because you're right beside, you know, you're turning toward the edge of the road on your own side. If you're making a left-hand turn, you're turning across a lane, so it gives you that much more turn space. Cool. Pretty happy about this. I don't get paid a lot to take a trailer from Chickasha to Decatur. It's just not enough miles to really pay very well, because I get paid by the mile. So the longer the trip, the better in that sense. But also, if it gets to be too long of a trip, then you've got overnight stays and this and that and the other thing. So, which is what I'm going to be contending with tonight. Now, knowing that this is going to be a bumper pull trailer, that it makes me kind of maybe rethink my initial plan a little bit. If it was one with living quarters, I would have just probably stayed in it. I'll have to look at it. If it's got a big enough living quarters, I'll probably go ahead and camp in it. There's nothing wrong with that. As warm as it is now at night, It's not hot yet, so I don't have to worry about cooking in it. I can just throw down a couple of blankets and sleep in it. I'd rather do that than spend $100 for a motel that's got cockroaches and bed bugs. I mean, you know. Do I like laying down on the floor and sleeping? Not much, but it's better than that. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It all just depends. Okay, guys, you're going to have to let me get over. You don't have any choice, because I said so. Haha, so there. I know. Alright, so I'm back. I'm on Highway 81. I'm getting ready to cross back into Oklahoma. We're just up above the Red River, about 1.5 miles, I think. So we'll be dropping back down in here. And I need to make myself a trip envelope too. I forgot to do that. I'll do that while we're fueling up when I get back to the farm here. I say while we're fueling up, but probably what will happen is Bill will do it. Because he's nice that way. He doesn't have to, but he probably will. Okay, so this is the Red River. We're crossing the bridge right now. And I'm not writing down any mileage because I'm not tracking it for IFTA. It's funny. Get in the habit of doing it, and I don't have to do it in this truck. So it depends on which truck I'm in, what paperwork I do. Gotta slow down and act like I'm back in Oklahoma. Mind the speed limit. So I know there's a lady trooper that patrols this down here. I've seen her. I saw her a couple weeks ago pulling a guy over and tagging him, giving him a ticket. You don't see too often. At least I don't. side of the road, if you know what I mean. One thing, see them in town or, you know, at the local cafe or whatever, but I don't want to see them on the side of the road. I don't find that entertaining a bit. Not at all. This just looks weird running alongside this train. And look, we got leaves up here too. See, I didn't know this morning when I came through because, oh, I guess I should grab my mic maybe. Sorry about all that. I didn't notice that there were leaves on the trees coming through here this morning because it was dark when I came through here. Look at this train. It's crazy. It's a long, long train. He must be running about 55, maybe 60. I'm not running a whole lot faster than he is, but I'm running faster. Okay, there's where we part ways. They're curving off to the left. So this is Ryan, Oklahoma, that we're coming up on now. We've been through here a lot. This is a name you probably remember if you've been watching my videos very much. Okay, so I'm northbound on Highway 81. I'm south of Waurika, Oklahoma. Just came through Ryan a few minutes ago. Just talked to Bill. He just called. And evidently, Tuck and Molly are now pooping buddies. They've not been like running together until this morning. Now they're running together. Because evidently every morning when Bill takes Molly out to let the chickens out of the coop, she goes out beyond the coop and that's where she does her morning thing. Well, this morning Tuck went with her, and so she did hers and then he did his. So now I think they're acclimated to each other. Bill says they're pooping buddies now, so he actually learns from her, so that's really good. That's awesome. He's smart enough. He won't bore her, I think. Maybe they may not like discuss the fate of the universe or whatever. Well, maybe they will in dog language, but at least he can keep up with her mentally. Evidently, he's capable of learning from her. So that's all good. So I'm just trying to mind my speed limit going up here. I got spoiled by driving in Texas this morning doing 75. And now I'm wanting to hurry up and get up to Oklahoma City and get that trailer, but I have to stop at home first and fuel up. I would do it on the way back, which would logistically make more sense, but I'm not going to be able to get up the driveway with a 8-horse trailer to go in there and get fuel once I've got a trailer on. So I'm going to have to stop off before, and then I'll have to get fuel somewhere south of here. Probably at Decatur after I pick up the bumper pull. So I can run a couple miles back up the road into Decatur and get it for cheap, for $3.40 something, which is comparatively cheap to what it's running up here. And then I'll have enough to get down to Houston. I'll have to fuel up again before I get back, I'm sure. Because I'm probably going to be running around 10 miles to the gallon with all of these trailers, even the bumper pull. I don't know, the bumper pull might not be so bad if the north wind keeps coming out of the north like it is this morning. So that'll kind of push me along and maybe negate some of the wind drag on that bumper pull. But I'm not going to worry about it. I mean, it is what it is. A little bumper pull trailer like that, I can get fuel anywhere, so it's not a big deal. I can do that in any little diesel station, so it's not really a big deal. The big consideration is with these super long trailers. It's going to be another super long one coming down from Oklahoma City. Just the nature of the beast. It's just how it is. So I'm trying to pay attention to where the leaves start and stop. Everything was leafy at Ryan. I'm not seeing, these are oak trees, so a lot of those are oaks. They don't get their leaves as early as some of the other varieties. But I'm seeing leaves up there on some other trees. So some of our trees should be leafing out. Actually, we've got a couple of them blooming. We've got, on our place, we've got some Bradford pears that are already blooming. There's one getting its leaves. There's a bunch of them back in there. Yay! Thank God we've survived another winter. Things to be thankful for, huh? Little things to be thankful for. Actually, that's kind of a big thing to me. Because I drive so much, I don't like winter driving conditions, and now as long as I stay in the south, I shouldn't have any more of that until next winter. And I just won't take any jobs into snowy areas. I'll just refuse. I don't want to do it. I don't mind driving on snow. I drove on snow most of my life. What I don't want to do is pull trailers on snow. I just am not into that kind of misery. It's just not fun to me to do that. And part of this, I mean, even though it's a job, it's also a job that I do because I find it to be kind of fun. I'm gonna make this guy sit and wait just because I can. See, he's acting like he wanted to sneak out there and not let me go. So. Sometimes I can be persnickety. Not like you would have ever noticed that, right? Yeah, I'm just not eager to drive in snowy conditions. It's kind of weird for me watching my brother's videos when he's driving in the snow like that. I think it's his latest one. He's up by Walden, maybe. Walden, Colorado. And he hit a slick patch in the road and started sliding a little bit. I know that feeling. That's a sickening feeling when your tires lose contact, lose traction, and you're just sliding on ice. Because if you're sliding, you're out of control. I mean, that's how it is. You have no control once you start to slide. You just have to wait till you stop. And you can't hit the brakes, that makes it worse. Best thing to do is take your foot off the gas and give your tires a chance to find some traction and grab. coming toward us. That's kind of like what I was hauling this morning. Look at all the stuff on top of that. They stack stuff up so high on those things. It's kind of crazy. But I guess if you got a bunch of horses in there, you need all that extra storage for hay and, I don't know, oats or whatever else you got to take with them. Anyways, they've got a big tack room on them too. That one that I delivered this morning, I think it had 6 or 8 saddle trees built in the tack room, and then it had living quarters in front of that. So they get pretty fancy deals. This is Comanche, Oklahoma. We're just getting through. I guess I don't really have to say it every town we go through, but I do, just out of habit. But I'm going to put it up in little letters anyway when I edit. I usually mark every town so you can keep track where we're at. I say where we're at, like you're with me. Well, you kind of are. So, I mean, I feel like I've got people in here with me because, I'm talking to you, so it's kind of a funny thing. We're getting there. 23 more miles to home, and then it's going to be another 60 miles up to go get that second trailer once I get fueled up. This is highly unusual for me to go to the farm to fuel up. This may never happen again. Probably won't after this, because I should be able to take about, 25 or 30 gallons of what's in the auxiliary tank. And then the rest of it we should be able to pump over into the red Ford and the white Ford and get that emptied out. We're just going to take that auxiliary tank off the truck. So what happened, I guess I should start with what happened, because I don't know what I've said on previous takes or whatever. The other day I was out at the barn and we were out there looking at the fort. Bill was showing me what he's had to do to make the U-joints work and stuff. He was having problems with the U-joints. I mean, he got all that resolved. He was showing me some of the other stuff, and we were kind of standing at the back of the truck looking, and he goes, "Is that a leak on the diesel tank, on the auxiliary tank?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'll crawl up there and see." So I got up on there with some paper towels, and he sprayed it with some brake cleaner, and I cleaned it off. And sure enough, there's a little tiny crack where the baffle wall that runs down the center of that tank is spot welded. It's such thin-walled steel that it's cracked. So it has kind of a pinpoint leak, and it's not like leaking and dripping out. It's not like that, but we need to empty it out because it's going to start doing that. If it sits there too much longer and it gets jounced around or bumped around, it will eventually become a bad leak, and then we'll have problems with diesel all over everything. So right now it's not like running out, it's mostly just seeping up a little bit and then evaporating. But we have to empty that tank out. It can't be repaired with diesel in it, so we have to empty it. Well, the problem is, where do we empty it into? So the best thing we can do, we've got 3 diesel vehicles. This is one of them, the white Ford's one and the red Ford's one. So the red Ford, I'm pretty sure has close to empty fuel tanks, so we can pump a lot of it down there. And then we can pump a lot of it into this truck, and then if there's any left, we can put it in the white Ford. So hopefully we can get it all emptied out. Otherwise, I would have been buying cheap fuel down in Texas when I was just down there. But so there's a method to my madness. So there's a reason I'm actually stopping off at home, like in the first third of my workday, which is something I got around trying to get stuff done. Well, I'm doing the same thing today, but it's more convenient to do that and to get that thing unloaded than it is for me to, you know, to leave it sitting there and then have it start leaking actively, and then we've got a big problem. So that's what we're doing. Anyway, just in case you didn't know, or in case I didn't mention it before, I may have, I don't remember. I may have mentioned it yesterday. So if I did, I'll edit this out and you'll never see it anyway. You won't know that I'm repeating myself. Unless I decide to leave it in just so you see that I'm repeating myself and I don't know that I'm repeating myself. Yeah, something like that. Oh my gosh. I'm actually tempted to take the bypass, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to run on up through Duncan. Primarily because if it's still tore up, I want you to see some of the storm damage from the other night. There are a couple of buildings that lost their roofs, and one of the roofs was up in a tree. The whole roof was up in a tree, and I want you to see that if they haven't pulled it down out of there yet. So that was kind of dramatic. The very south side of Duncan, that's the bypass. If I had gone right there, taken that exit, that would put me on the bypass. Which, the bypass is the most, it's like the worst bypass ever, in my opinion. And the reason is because it doesn't dump back out on Highway 81. It goes up and it dumps out on Highway 7. But you still have to navigate back to Highway 81 and then cross 81 at a bad intersection to get back on 81. So to me, it's a lousy bypass. It would have been better if they'd have figured out some way to dump it back out with like they did down here with ramps, you know, exit ramps or whatever. But no, they couldn't do that. So I stay off the bypass. I just don't care for it. People drive way too fast on there, and I think it's dangerous, insanely dangerous actually, some days, because people really, I don't know, it's like they get over there and they think there's no speed limit, or they just lose their minds on it, and I don't know why. I have no idea why it affects people like that, but it sure does seem to. Duncan we're getting into now, the crepe myrtle capital of the world, or something like that. Crepe myrtle capital of something. They adopted that, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, I think. They decided they needed to be known for something here. Like, you know, towns have some identity, and evidently some lady who lives down here said, well, let's be the crepe myrtle capital because we got a lot of them. No arguing that. There are a lot of crepe myrtles in this town. In fact, I've got crepe myrtles in my yard and I don't live in this town. But we drive through here in the summer and you would see why they call it that, because they're everywhere. Very colorful, very pretty. Always get stopped at this light. I don't know that I've ever gotten to just go through this light, ever. Never, not ever. Ever, not never. Something like that. That's the one beef I've got with Duncan is they have way too damn many stoplights. And they're not synchronized. So it's hit or miss. Yeah. Mostly hit. So we're coming up on the area where they had the wind damage. The first place you'll see is going to be on the left, up here at this next light. and there's a, I'll show you once we get up here. There's a building over there, its tin roof just got rolled up. And that's not it. That's something just being re-roofed, I think. Or I don't know, maybe that got torn up too, but they got a lot of stuff up on that. It looks like that was here before. But the building I'm talking about is over here on the left. It's a gray building with red trim around the top. If you look at the top of it there, the roofing's just rolled up. So that's been ripped up. And then the other one is over here on the right. There's a couple of trucks out in front. If you look over in that tree, that's a roof up in that tree. A big roof all up in the tree. So that's where the whatever it was went through here. They were saying straight line winds. I'll go with my nephew's assessment. He came in early to work that night, I guess, and he thought it was a tornado because of the debris path, kind of a strip of damage through there. But I guess it took down some fences and roofs, mostly. We were really lucky up where we're at because we got some pretty good wind, but it blew through pretty fast, and it didn't have any really intense cells that went right over Marlow, so that was kind of nice. So we mostly got a lot of rain out of it. We got half an inch of rain in about, I don't know, half an hour that it took to blow through. It was moving, it was a fast moving front. It zipped right on through. Then last night it rained, and we got about another half an inch of rain. So we're getting nice amounts of rain, really nice amounts of rain. Driving behind somebody who speeds up and slows down, speeds up and slows down. That's irritating. Whatever else he does, I just don't want to have to put up with that. Alright, so I'll probably go ahead and stop this until I get headed back up to Oklahoma City. So I will see you in a bit.